Hello and welcome to Fully Charged News. I'm Robert Llewellyn.
I'm Jonny Smith.
And this is the latest news update, and it's very exciting. There's a lot of news, Johnny. I mean, that's the thing. There's a lot going on.
It's busy,
isn't it? Yeah.
It's really busy. Yeah.
Are we keeping up as an outlet about electric vehicles?
We're struggling.
What?
We're struggling to keep up, but we always put our spin on it.
We do,
Robert, don't
yeah.
we? So, I'm fresh back from the Geneva Motor Show.
Yeah.
Of which plug-in was just dominant.
Right. I think the last time I went was 5 years ago, and there were definite signs, and there were clearly things like Nissan Leaf, Renault Zoe, Tesla, although that was around.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of other stuff. It wasn't the. So this time, did you really see a big increase?
Yeah, I would say now it's not considered niche.
No.
As a motor show unveil.
Right.
The amount of SUVs with plugs,
right,
and the amount of fully EV kind of sporty stuff was quite amazing.
Right.
Exciting.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't want to do highlights because there's going to be a full report, proper, really looking gorgeous report about Geneva coming as soon as Fully Charged brings these things to you. I know
it's being edited as we speak.
I think some cool highlights of stuff you saw that caught your eye. That because you were essentially I-Pace was the sort of focus of what you were seeing there.
Well, Jag brought the I-Pace out and said, "World's first full EV SUV."
Right.
And then Hyundai, when they unveiled the Kona EV, went world's first production EV. You're like, right.
Oh, right.
Basically,
there's a lot of
because, and the reason for this is because SUVs are the most popular derivative of car, and it's only growing. The growth of SUV purchase is massive, and obviously the whole plug-in thing is more and more prevalent. So that's why these two things are being married together.
It's also probably a technological reason in that it's an easier package. If you're doing the Tesla layout, which is skateboard of batteries, motor at either end, four-wheel drive, it's easy to put an SUV body on that. But the other thing that I thought was interesting was the which is a report that came out a while ago, was the CO2 levels from transport had gone up. Not that much, but they had gone up, and it was all about, is it because we burn coal to make electricity for all the electric cars? There's so few electric cars still, there's absolutely no way that's it. It's because there's so many more SUVs. So cars have got bigger, heavier, less fuel efficient, which is kind of incredibly, it's ridiculous. There will be, in 6 months' time, there'll be zero excuse. You're going to buy a really expensive big car, get the electric one. Yeah. It's a really expensive big car. Yeah. It's exactly the same, except it's better.
And it's happening at sort of both ends of the sort of premium wealth level.
Right.
You've driven the plug-in Range Rover.
Yeah.
The Bentley had the plug-in Bentayga there. So
I saw one of those the other day. They are so big.
They're really not an attractive car. No. But what Bentley's done, interestingly, is they've made the Charger sort of a piece of sculpture.
Oh.
So they know that you're going to have a wall box.
I see.
They want Bentley owners for it to be a premium wall box. So it's made out of amazing polished aluminium and specialist wood that was hopefully sustainably sourced.
Yes.
I'm sure it was. But yeah, you've got that, and then you've got, kind of like the Hyundai and the lower end.
Yeah. Is it the case that what's happening now, and what we're seeing happening really quickly, is the kind of middle to upper end of the market, in say 5 years' time, is going to be predominantly electric? The new cars that are coming out, that's where the electric market is, and these are cars with 200 plus mile range, very fast acceleration, all that stuff, high-end luxury cars. So when you go to some sort of posh do in the Cheltenham races, those people will have that, and then the rest of us are stuck with old petrol and diesel cars. But I mean, do you see enough sign of smaller, cheaper electric cars being launched or being...
A lot of really small kind of city focused. And then you've got your Zoe, your Leaf, which is sort of not just urban, is it?
No,
it's they're brilliant. I think the bit which is missing is sort of just north of Leaf and Zoe, but south of Tesla.
Right. Yeah. So there's a gap there.
Even south of because you've got. I mean, the I-Pace is not a cheap car. It's going to be 60 grand, 59 grand upwards.
Right.
The Model 3 Tesla is going to be.
They're going to be 45. Real.
So really south of 40 grand and north of 25 grand.
Yeah.
There is
a gap.
There is a gap. Yeah.
I mean, it's theoretically that's what the Tesla Model 3 was meant to fill.
Yeah.
But I think by the time you've kind of gone, I want to be able to see through the window. I don't know. It just feels like the base level of that, which they were saying was 30, 35.
Yeah.
I think it would be, I don't know, who knows.
But also we're saying, just because you want an expensive car doesn't mean to say you have to be wealthy now. This is the interesting thing.
Well, I mean, because I think this is always the thing, is that when I get the criticism, which is always, I adore it, so please do comment, it's all right for you living in your privileged, elitist media bubble.
Yeah. Well, this is where we are now.
We're in the middle of a privileged elitist media bubble, but don't cut away to the piles of chicken food that just over there. That I vacuumed them up as much as I could this morning. I had a bit of a spillage. Anyway, but the number of expensive cars you see on the road, and you can say, okay, in West London, well, what do you expect? Going through Doncaster, there's big SUVs, there's big cars that are expensive all over the country. People buy big, expensive cars. They might be second-hand. Yeah. They're not cheap to run. They're not cheap to maintain, and they're even second-hand. They're not cheap.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
It isn't a knackered old Ford Anglia. That's when when I was young. That was a cheap car.
That was your working class quid. Kind of like.
You can get a second-hand one for £50.
Yeah, but people don't go into dealerships and go, I like your new car. It's what, 60 grand? Here's £60,000.
Yeah, no.
People just don't do it. In fact, dealers don't accept cash payment.
And anecdotally, the amount of stories I've heard where someone said, well, the Zoe still costs so-and-so. And there was hundreds of people going, well, I got mine for a lot less. I mean, like 5, 6, 7 grand less than the list price, because they went in and well, I'd love one, but I'm not going to pay that much.
I know someone who has an i3 BM and they pay £99 a month.
Right.
I mean, look at that car.
Wow.
Look at that technology.
Yeah.
For 100 sheets a month.
Wow.
Because most people live month by month. In your head, you look at your monthly outgoing.
Well, 100 quid a month, that's 1,200 quid a year. So, Jesus, that's
not a lot of money for what you're getting.
And you might pay £20 a month for electricity on top of that to charge it.
Yeah.
It's a really...
Yeah, if you get a decent thrifty tariff.
Yeah, that is amazing.
And also more people I find who are wanting to dip their toe into the water with EV, if they lease it, they don't feel like they've fully committed, and they can in their head they go, I'm going to try this for a year.
Yes, that's true.
And I'll have a play with this whole idea of living plug-in, and if it doesn't work, I can go back. Or if you're a two-car family, I always say this to people: if you're a two-car family, the chances are, if you have one as a plug-in and one maybe carry on as a diesel for the time being, it feels less of a commitment. Yeah. But by sort of osmosis.
Yes, you'll learn that it's actually not that hard to use.
You change your behaviour of charging at home or whatever you do.
The bit of news that I think could easily be missed. Yeah, we could do a bit of shuffling. By the sort of mainstream news things is the development and installation of 350 kilowatt chargers. So just, to quickly explain, your plug at home, your 3-pin plug that you plug your kettle into is 5 kilowatts. My charger in there is 7 kilowatts.
Yeah.
Your public chargers often 7 kilowatts, unless they're rapid chargers, are 50 kilowatts.
Yep.
Tesla superchargers, 150 kilowatts. The new version of chargers, 350 kilowatts. It's insane. That's a lot of juice.
When you look at that one up there, and it's 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 7 to 350.
And a 7 kilowatt charger adds 22, 23 miles range in an hour. So it's overnight. This will be adding 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
With CCS connector, and they've actually installed them. So Fastned put one in a place we've been to, the De Watering service station on the A8 near Amsterdam. That's where and there's a 350 kilowatt charger there, and also Ionity is another charger who make the chargers, and they're really cool looking chargers.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're backed by BMW, Daimler, Ford. Interestingly, because Ford aren't really doing a lot electrically. Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, and they're putting 400 350 kilowatt chargers by 2020. So on all the autobahns and all the
which is great because
what are Porsche saying? That how long is that's going to take?
Porsche is saying with their Mission E stuff, they're an 800 volt car.
Right.
0 to 80% charge in 15 minutes.
Right.
So 15 minutes is genuinely toilet, queue up for a coffee, buy your coffee, check your text messages, get in the car.
And get back in,
80%.
Yeah.
And
which
if you're
which is what, probably 200 miles plus range.
I mean, a lot. And don't forget, if you're driving, Porsche is a sporty car. If you're driving a sporty car, 200 mile range is actually a lot.
Yeah.
Because sports cars tend to not be that efficient anyway.
Yeah.
So this is great news.
Yeah, no, it is extraordinary. And the other thing that has been discussed a lot, and it's something we're covering soon, is as soon as you think about 350 kilowatts, that's a huge amount. That is a lot of. That's like a housing estate.
Yes, it is.
Not a big housing estate, but a reasonable size.
It's big numbers.
It's like 50, 60 houses worth with their tumble dryers going. It's that kind of level.
Yeah.
So where does that electricity come from? Well, it comes from the grid. I've actually been at a talk recently, which I was introducing the people. A guy from the National Grid who just said very clearly there is no problem. They have the power and they have the supply, and their power supplies run near motorways. It's not a problem to put in the backbone. But what is really clearly going to happen is they're going to be using batteries. So there'll be battery backup stations, and this is what Ionity are doing. Okay. They're putting massive multi-megawatt batteries at the chargers because that's how they get that speed. Okay, so those are charging all the time from the grid, the batteries are, but when a car comes, it dumps that into the car.
So it'll be like a petrol station. Under the petrol station, you have the huge tank.
You have tanks. It's just like tanks, and you have to, but they're tanks that are constantly filling from the grid, but it's not doing this to the grid.
Yes.
It's doing that. It's an absolute straight demand.
Okay.
And the cars come in, it dumps them, then it starts charging, and then it dumps them. So this bit is from the battery, and there's a constant feed, and that's really the only way it can be done.
And that's so it's not a hard draw.
On
80,000 kettles.
Yes, at 1 second.
Right.
Yeah, the batteries are the buffer between that.
Yeah.
And it's because batteries have got cheaper, and they'll be old car batteries as well. That's what they'll use for doing that.
That's brilliant.
Well, they've already done it. Tesla have already done it at South Mims, and we're going to go and film that very soon. South Mims Services.
South Mims.
If you drive a Tesla, go to South Mims Services on the M25 because it's really fast. It's noticeably quicker.
I've been to the toilet there numerous times.
They've got very good quality toilets.
Yes.
There's a whole range of coffee products and buns.
Confectionery, you name it. I just realised, by the way, I just want to mention I'm not sponsored by Audi or Vodafone. Right. I've got this because after the Audi Luna Quattro film, for Fully Charged.
They gave you a shirt.
A rocket scientist gave me a shirt.
You can't say no.
I've never been given a shirt by a rocket scientist, so I just thought I have to wear it. And it's actually quite comfortable. So thank you, PT scientists.
Yeah, no, they're very nice. They look very nice, the PT scientists.
Got Dyson.
Oh, well, Dyson. They're putting a lot of money into electric cars. They're clearly being very serious about it. They're not kind of toying with it.
Yeah.
I think they're putting something like £2 billion into battery development and the car.
And that's in the UK?
And is it? I mean, certainly the research, the design, the development is all done in the UK.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, Dysons are manufactured in Malaysia. The vacuum cleaners, they're not manufactured in this country. They used to be, but he went offshore with them.
I'm interested. I mean, they are being quite secretive about what they're doing with cars.
But they've hired a lot of people.
They've
hired a lot of people, so they're very serious. But I don't think I wouldn't think we'll see a launch or anything this year. No. Maybe next year.
Yeah, I think we're not talking about 2018.
Yeah.
And if anyone from Dyson's watching, please get in touch.
Yes.
Because we want to know.
We'd love to know what you're doing. You're probably not allowed to say yet, but when you are, get in touch.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, that's a bit of serious news. Here's a bit of end of whenever you do the news. These are the best stories.
Oh,
it's usually about a kitten or a puppy, but this is about
Corey Allen Patrick.
Corey Allen, that's it. What's your name? Corey Allen Patrick. I'm only saying that because this wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. Now, this was a really frightening thing. A guy was driving in his Chevy Bolt through Austin, Texas.
Yep.
And someone hijacked the car, which means, he was basically assaulted. He was attacked in his car, dragged out, and the kid got in the car.
Yeah.
He just sat still. I mean, it's hard not to laugh. But basically, when the police arrested him, not long after, it wasn't hard to arrest him because it wasn't a car chase, because he didn't know how to drive electric. That was his...
the owner rolled down the window. Patrick yelled at the driver to get out of the vehicle. The driver rolled the window back up. Patrick smashed it.
Yeah.
There was a struggle. He got in the car because the driver exited the vehicle as he didn't want to die over
Which is a very sensible thing to do.
Totally.
Even a Chevy Bolt, which is a brilliant electric car, we've been told, we haven't driven one, but it's not worth dying over.
No. According to the document, Patrick then attempted to drive away but couldn't because he didn't know how to drive an electric car. The robber later exited the vehicle after a nearby witness reportedly saw the incident and ran
to the... Yeah, this is very... Yeah, when you're trying to steal a car in America, just make sure there's no one around, because a passerby then ran up to him with a machete.
Patrick was later charged with robbery by assault, which in Texas is a second-degree felony punishable by up to 20 years in prison.
For trying to nick a car, and then some bloke runs out of a shop with a machete. It's just a bad... He didn't have a good day. He didn't think it through.
No, and the driver got the car back, obviously.
Yeah.
And can I just say, I'd love to drive an Austin car. in Texas.
In Austin, Texas.
So there you go. What do you drive?
An Austin.
An Austin.
No, what car do you drive?
Yeah,
An Austin.
An Austin.
No, we're in Austin.
And where do you live? In Austin.
In Austin.
What?
I'm driving my Austin.
Yeah. So there you go. I'm going to get an Austin Princess, convert it to Evie, and I'm going to emigrate to Austin just because of that.
What is intriguing is the one thing about electric cars is they're the easiest ones to drive. So he must have, what did he not?
It's an auto.
Yeah. It's stab it and steer. I mean, it doesn't get any easier.
And Americans have been brought up on autos. So it's it's just D, right?
Yes, exactly. Here, you might, a kid who's done manual, he might think, oh, he's looking for a gear stick, he doesn't work out. But everyone in America drives.
I suggest
auto, don't they?
Corey Allen Patrick might have been medicated.
Well, he might have been he would have been very stressed. 28-year-old Corey Allen Patrick. Yeah, no, it's very unfair to make fun of people to make fun of the whole thing. It would have been very traumatic for the guy who owned the car, for the local people there. What is good, I quite like the fact that someone ran up to save the situation with a machete rather than an M16. I mean, that's a step forward, isn't it?
That's true.
You know, he didn't spray the whole area with gunshot, which is always a big plus.
Absolutely right. And carrying a machete, I mean... he's obviously a halal butcher or something.
Wouldn't that be great if he turns out to be a halal butcher?
Yeah. We
ought to finish now. A couple of announcements. Fully Charged Live is really going ahead. It's full steam ahead with the organisation behind that. The team is growing that are organising it because it's a big thing. It's terrifying. June the 9th and 10th at Silverstone Circuit.
Yep.
The big halls at Silverstone Circuit, lots of exhibitions. We now know that we've got some really exciting things. I'm not going to announce it quite yet. Tickets will be on sale very soon. It is open to the public. It's going to be brilliant. There's going to be lots of really interesting talks, panel sessions, all that stuff.
Yep. A combination of vehicles and also house-focused home generation.
Yeah.
Shizzle.
There's going to be an enormous range of shizzle, I think it's fair to say.
Yes.
So we're really looking forward to that. There'll be a special ticket deal for Patreon supporters.
Yep.
And talking of Patreon supporters, let me quickly mention the name of a few of them who donate $10 or more a month to keeping this show going, and boy, is it essential.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, big thanks to them. So quick thanks to Joseph Wynn,
Roger Laxon,
Brodie Woolston-Home,
George Cohn,
Smart Charge America,
Matt Lemon. You got the hard one at the end.
And Luc Ordemard. I hope that's close to what it is.
Was very
I think that was quite
French,
good.
Very French.
If Luc is French, he may be not, and he may be really. It's actually it's Audemard. But anyway, it was something along those lines.
Bolton.
Yeah, it's from Bolton. Thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. Please do subscribe to Fully Charged. Have a look at the Patreon link if you've got a moment, just to give a quick perusal. And as always, if you have been,
thank you for watching.